we can't get out coached. That's my other key to victory.
That's a big ask for Shawnee.
D'Amico Ryans has so many of his fans pissed off right now because the Texans, in a lot of ways, just because of the state of their offense, make every single game Sisyphusian, where they have to push the rock uphill to try to beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I do want to ask, how many times did you practice the word Sisyphusian?
I use it a lot.
I just thought it was worth asking because I think a lot of people probably got caught off guard by Drew and your demeanor using the word Sisyphusian.
I wouldn't think that would come out right the way your teeth are aligned.
In your blessing words, your two blessing words.
Just like something. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Rockpile Report podcast. I'm your host, Bill, season ticket holder Drew Gear. That's my producer, Chris Kruger. In studio with us tonight, Mr. Ryan Lasal from the ROC Sports Network and hashtag sports fame.
Ooh, fame, like that.
Well, look at you. You're on there with the boys all the time.
Yeah, that's true. I am with the boys.
Are you a full-fledged member now?
I'm in the graphic, so I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm included in the intros now, so I feel like I'm part of the team now.
Funny thing about what's going on over at hashtag sports, and for those of you who don't listen or haven't listened, I'm sure you do, or you at least know of them. It's funny to me because they've always been, it was like a two-man operation. And then, Chris, you being from radio, you'll maybe be able to appreciate this reference, but I feel like what happened with you guys is that they were the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah.
And they had a thing going on for a while. And then they were like, hey, let's bring in a third element here. And then I think there's some people who, for reasons I think we can all understand, probably like you as good, if not more, than the existing hosts. So you became like the Jim Norton of the hashtag sports show.
Yeah, I think that's fair, right? Because like Paul does Cat probably better than anybody out there. Like I'd put him against anyone in the space. And Mario, same thing. Like I'd put him in against anybody when it comes to film. Like, I mean, you can't really argue with a guy that's played at high level D3, you know.
I can, and I have, and I will continue to do so.
So they brought me in, and I think what I just bring is like a chaotic neutral element to their show where I'll just say random things and then, you know, slam my hand on the desk. I'm kind of like the the dancing bear in the background of the serious thing that they have going on. So they get their bits in there, and then I tell them like none of this matters. We're just like living in the echo of a dead universe, right? When it comes to the Bills. So yeah, I think that's apt, and I think that they would agree with that. They bring me in for comedic relief, and I also do a fairly good job of kind of keeping them on track because, as you do as well, you wander. So they like the guy that doesn't let them wander too far.
See, that's all those years spent hosting shows.
Yeah.
It's like you just fall into it naturally.
Yeah, I mean, because don't forget, like I think we talked about it at the tailgate for the Chiefs game. Like Icy and I, when my original partner, we were kind of like the first two to do this thing, right? Like, along with Mario and Paul, we were both on Blog Talk Radio. If you remember that, Chris, you might remember. Chris's eyes got big, right? Like we were on Blog Talk Radio. That's how long we've been doing this, right?
Yeah,
like
if you think StreamYard devalues your camera quality, take a look at Blog Talk Radio and how they devalue your audio.
Yeah, so like Icy and I have been doing this so long that like we broke down EJ Manuel as a draft prospect. So when you talk about like all the new podcasts that are out there, I call them new. Like anybody that's within the last like 6 years. Like if you didn't start podcasting before like the Josh Allen era, like don't even talk to me about how tough it is to podcast for this team, right? So, but that allowed me to kind of gain all of this like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Right. And like, that's why whenever I'm on your show, you don't even send me rundowns anymore. Nope. I'm just like, what are we talking about? Like, well, let's just do it. You know, like I can vamp, I can riff, like let's roll.
It's funny whenever I go on shows for like non-Bill centric shows, we'll get random like DMs from people being like, hey, do you want to come join our show? And it's like, yeah, sure. I'll do that. Now I'll do it with Ken McCusick from Baltimore Film Study. And he is like scientific about his film study and his film breakdown. And he'll send me paragraphs. This is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to do. And that's great. And I do some prep because if he puts the effort into putting it together, I'm going to put the effort into being a prepared guest.
Sure.
Most of them, they're like, do you need a rundown? I go, don't bother. I'm going to be half in the bag and we're going to have a ball with this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you can send me a rundown, but that's not a guarantee that that's what we're going to talk about this week.
I don't know if you know what's about to happen. I'm going to come hijack your podcast.
Exactly.
It's Chris. How hard has it been for you over the years to keep this podcast on the rails?
I mean, I just let it go. I mean, I think after the first year, I stopped giving you like instruction or the things that I learned in my time in radio in Atlanta. And, you still do dumb shit. This is week 2 with boom arms for the microphones. And then you insist to have it above your face.
Okay.
Like a child looking up into a microphone.
Chris is like,
cute.
When it comes to keeping the train on the tracks, Chris doesn't. Like, he's just throws sand piles in front of the tracks just to kind of like make sure that when it goes off the rails, it hits something soft.
My
and,
favorite thing is when he
pushes the
starts
blow.
doing the wrap it up thing.
Like, that matters to either
Like,
of
I'm
us.
not going to
That's
run
fine.
the light on this. Like, I'm not just going to keep talking about whatever I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do appreciate the effort, Chris. And I also appreciate the new digs. Ryan,
I gotta
pretty
say,
cozy
man.
in here.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is the nicest setup that I've been a part of, and I've done GR with Nate Geary. So
I mean, it's WGR.
Yeah,
the bar
that's
is
fair.
set so low.
Yeah.
Look at their stuff on YouTube. Hey guys, free publicity for WGR 550's YouTube coming. If I wanted to see a bunch of 40-year-old with chins, I would just watch our show again and again. They need to get more flattering camera angles. Who came up with this? It literally looks like every Teams call I have at work where everyone's too lazy to set up an actual like straight on camera. So it's just the laptop camera, which is always the most unflattering angle.
Yeah, and it's always facing like up
Yeah,
at the
up
person, like
at an
off to the
angle.
side of their desk.
I can tell that person hasn't shaved their nose hair in weeks. It's like, oh, come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's literally every single WGR 550 YouTube video.
Yeah, their setup looks like a bunch of radio guys got told to hook up cameras. Like, that's what it looks like.
Chris, do you
And
concur?
did like no research on it, right? Like, at least
100% true.
Chris is like, why do you think it's taken me so long to get a decent setup in here? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just funny because it's like you get Nate who comes in here and goes, we're just happy the lights work over there. Meanwhile, you come over here, we're like, wait, we've got some cash later on. What do we want to throw? What kind of nonsense do we want to buy now?
Yeah.
And I love that Chris just will randomly, I'll get texts from him, just excited texts. Can you picture him excited about anything?
No, very, very little, I would say.
The man.
I mean,
had-
I get excited about things that involve my wife.
I've seen wedding
But,
pictures though.
yeah.
Not many of you smiling.
This I was like jacked up because I put it to, I mean, Drew, this is how, fourth wall. Drew works in finance. So guess who handles the finances of the podcast?
You.
Not me. Not me.
Chris
So, but
just
I will say what's in the account, and then I'll go, we need to do this thing. And Ryan, I can already tell you do love those swivel chairs.
Yeah, so I am fidgety by nature. So it's just, I have trouble focusing. So I focus on other things, like this chair moves back and forth and this arm like isn't quite where I want it. So I'm going to fidget a lot. And for those of you who watch the live tonight, like, you will watch me fidget. So
I'm going to be playing with this microphone. I'm never going to have it in the same place twice.
yeah, no.
I'm going to move it a million times per show. It's going to drive Chris nuts, and that's almost the value of it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I'm
real
also-
value of this is just bothering him.
I'm also the guy that Paul and Mario have to remind me to like switch to my right microphone when I go on their lives, and like,
What's your name, Jim Manos?
Yeah.
Oh, and on that note, I think it's time we jump into tonight's preview. The Week 12 preview, Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Our time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. The place, NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. It's in a dome, so we don't have to worry about weather. The line is interesting. If I was a team that had a 5-5 record and I had just almost lost a game, I don't want to hear about near wins, almost lost a game to one of the worst team, de facto the worst team in my division, and arguably one of the worst teams in the AFC as a conference,
Yep.
and you barely escaped with a win, I would consider it wild that the line was somehow moving towards me instead of away. especially knowing that I'm going to go play Josh Allen, the undefeated on Thursday Night Football Josh Allen, whose team just scored 40 points.
Yep.
Chris, what does Vegas know about this game that we don't? Because that seems like, do they really envision that, like, okay, the Mecole Hardman injury or a potential lack of ability for Curtis Samuel, what, that's supposed to be a full point swing in a football game like this?
I get my thing. According to my Yahoo app, Buffalo -6. I did see 5.5 earlier in the week.
I saw it going off at 3.5 at one point.
Oof. My thing is, we haven't won there since in 19 years. So
that is
it's
true.
I know we just beat the shit out of Tampa Bay, but like, still, I'm not convinced that this team can cover anybody.
Well,
I think the other part of this is that they just watched this team play a Tampa Bay team that has no semblance of defense whatsoever. And they're like, if we can get a team that can play like a modicum of defense against this Bills team, they have a shot. And Buffalo just happens to be going into a game against arguably the best pass rush in the NFL.
not just the best pass rush, the best defense.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. But that also leads to some conversation about the injuries, right? So when you think about it for Buffalo, literally and comically, half of our starting lineup was on the injury report in some fashion. Like if I pull this up here and get it in front of our eyeballs here, it is very funny when you see an injury report that's so large, you have to scroll down to see the end of it.
Yeah.
Like look at what we're working with here. And what I do find interesting, and I almost wonder if, like when you think about some of the names on here, Christian Benford being limited, that makes sense considering the groin injury. The fact that he played every snap last week, I'm not concerned. You go down the list and you've got Terrell Bernard who showed up. He's clearly managing that ankle injury and he is not good, but there's also something else. And this is for a team that's had its hands slapped in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I question how honest they're being about Terrell Bernard's status because you can watch him just laboring with something.
Yeah.
Now it's easy to say, oh yeah, no, it was totally that ankle injury that he got against the Falcons, but he was banged up before that and kind of limping around. So I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those things in the offseason. You know how Jerry Hughes used to play every game? And then as soon as the season ended, they'd be like, oh yeah, he had reconstructive wrist surgery.
Well, they do it with Josh too.
Yeah.
Right? Like Josh has been had played injured the last couple seasons. And at the end of the year, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, like remember that Cardinals game? Yeah, he broke his hand.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's why he was running that way.
It's like hockey playoffs. He's got a lower leg injury. Then they're eliminated. Oh, he broke his leg and played 2 shifts with it.
Yeah.
What?
Kevin Bieksa, and it's one of the coolest hockey stories talking about injuries. He took a puck off the skate playing for the Vancouver Canucks and he didn't want to get eliminated. You know, their team was kind of on the ropes. They ended up getting eliminated in the next game anyway.
Right.
But it's an elimination game. And he takes a puck to the foot in like the second period, kind of late, and it's broken. And they go in for the second intermission and they go to like, all right, let's get that skate off. He's like, absolutely not. Don't take it off. It'll swell.
Yeah.
Leave that skate on. And they tightened it. And he went out and played the third period on a broken foot. And then they won the game. And then obviously, as soon as they got the skate off him, they were like, oh, you're finished.
Yeah.
This is hamburger in here. What are you doing? These guys are animals. They're warriors. That's what they do. And so
there's one name on this list though that pops out that worries me just a little bit, and that's Connor McGovern, because he was not on the injury report last week. There were 2 names originally when I first pulled it up yesterday, and that was Daquan Jones and Connor McGovern. But Daquan Jones has been listed as vet rest, right? Which means, I don't know, case of the sniffles. He's just, a little banged up. He wants to rest. But McGovern being listed with an ankle is just a little concerning because it's a short week and he wasn't injured last week. So there was an injury that occurred during the game.
Something flared up afterwards.
Right, which now he's having to deal with and go on a short turnaround. That's the only name that kind of worries me. And again, it's because of this pass rush, right?
Well, because there's things you see, right, where you go, oh, Khalil Shakir did not participate. It's listed as personal. I also know that his wife is pregnant. Part of me wonders if maybe he didn't have his child. Again, that's none of my business. I don't stalk social media like some people in our fan base who might as well go by Bill's TMZ. But yeah, I don't care about any of that. I have a feeling he'll probably pop up here, be a full participant, and be ready to go.
Yeah.
And then, obviously Mecole Hardman not participating, Curtis Samuel not participating at all. I have to assume they're not going to play. Same with Dalton Kincaid. What's funny is Jordan Poyer's on here. He's a limited participant. And my wife goes, "Oh, is he hurt? I heard he didn't practice." And I go, "Yeah, he's suffering from a chronic case of fucking old."
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just vet rest. They're like, "Oh, you're just..."
Well, and he got pancaked by Tristan Wirfs on that one Sean Tucker run.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was rough show from old Poyer, even though he had 15 tackles.
Like, imagine getting hit like that now at our age.
Yeah, no, I'll pass.
I watch people dive through tables and tailgates, and I flat out said, I'm like, the idea of falling more than a foot or two, like, that would be devastating to me. It would be absolutely devastating to me.
Yeah, we talked about this on the show last night with Mario and Paul, that, like, don't worry too much about the injury report, because if you even look at the Texans injury report, right?
Yep.
Like Nico Collins is limited, like Al Shahir is limited. Like, those guys are going to play. Will Anderson, I think, is even on the injury report for them. Like, that, none of an injury report on Thursday doesn't matter for a Thursday football game unless a guy is declared out, like CJ Stroud was today.
Well, and there's another interesting one. First of all, Jalen Petrie, limited with a concussion that he sustained in the last game. Mm-hmm. And then Jamal Hill, one of their linebackers, who left the last game with a hamstring injury, didn't come back.
Yeah. Well, Petrie was injured the same game Stroud was.
Okay.
So Petrie missed last week against the Titans. And that was kind of the indicator yesterday when the injury report came out that Petrie was limited, Stroud didn't practice, and everybody was like, well, that means Stroud's going to be out. Like, he's not going to go on a quick turnaround if he's not even doing a walkthrough on Monday. So, yeah, I mean, Petrie's a one to keep an eye on because he's, obviously an impact safety. Mm-hmm. Jamal Hill, if he can go, but that's a concern for them. And then Stroud being out, like, all of this is good for the Bills, right? Because I'll take as bad as Stroud has been this year.
Is it though? And that's where I kind of want to start this conversation, because you go, as bad as Stroud has been, and it's just one more thing about this team, they annoy me.
Yeah.
Like, when I think about football teams, I think we've talked about this a couple times in the preamble to
Atlanta.
We talked about Carolina. I feel like this is what happens with NFC South teams for some reason. They just bother me.
Yeah.
Now, the Saints, I literally owe my life and my physical well-being to the fact that Drew Brees was an absolute G on Monday Night Football. I've told that gambling story here before.
Yeah. Yep.
By and large, there's just something about every single NFC South team that bugs me. And the AFC South isn't much different. The Jaguars, they don't need to exist. The NFL literally said, hey, I'm going to, you know what? Football's popular down here because it's close to Gainesville, and that's where, Florida University and all that stuff. I wonder if the NFL can siphon any money away from this. And people got excited about it for about 5 years and then went, you guys suck, huh? No, we'll just go watch SEC football.
Well, and they've also got an owner that doesn't care if they win. Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, what was Shad Khan's thing of he's like, I don't have to win to make money.
I don't have to win to make money. Yeah.
That's literally a quote from their owner.
Yeah.
Chris, what would you do? Like,
and now his son, who doesn't care, he's running AEW, so he could give a shit less about the football team, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You get the Colts, who for the longest time, Jim Irsay is probably one of the most unsympathetic characters in the entire NFL. Like, substance abuse and people with problems, I completely understand. This is not me taking a shot at him, other than, like, you're walking around wearing cowboy boots and just, like, you're a maniac.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The Colts have more AFC East division titles than the Jets.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious statistic.
And I mean, just as an aside, like, we're all just waiting for the wheels to come off in Indianapolis, right? Like,
sure, this season, yeah.
I mean, Daniel Jones is like, he's this year's Sam Darnold. Right.
I've said that. I was like, I can see a lot of similarities. And the second that running game stumbles and you put the whole game on Daniel Jones's shoulders, I don't know what that team turns into.
Yeah.
Then you have the Tennessee Titans, who I think every self-respecting Bills fan has a little animosity for.
Correct.
Right? Like, screw them forever. Kevin Dyson. That guy and his entire family can kiss my ass. And then you've got these guys. Right, the Houston Texans, another expansion team that I don't really understand why they're here. Like, when they were incepted, think about how badly that went. They were like, hey, we're going to get this super high draft pick and then we're going to get him killed. Think about how many other things that they've ruined, right? Like Andre Johnson's career. Andre Johnson was one of my favorite football players. You buried his career underneath Matt Schaub. You said, hey, guys, guess what we're going to do? We're going to Matt Schaub, one of the easiest to root for players ever in a Houston. He was fun. He was fiery. He was good at his job. He never got in trouble off the field. He was just a G.
Yeah.
And you buried his entire career, kind of like they did to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins wasted his best years just languishing.
Yeah.
That franchise has swallowed more careers of star play. Arian Foster.
Arian Foster. Yeah.
Another amazing talent.
Andre Johnson.
How many playoff games did those guys get to play in or be a part of or win?
Mario Williams, right?
Mario Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thing with Houston is 3 memories. Obviously, the playoff game.
Where a bunch of nondescript
Yeah.
NFL employees just came down from the stands and stole a touchdown. That's something that happens in Ocean's 11, not
Or the one
NFL.
where that's the same one that Josh threw the jump ball to Patrick DeMarco. So let's not forget about that.
If you throw a Hail Mary to a guy under 6 feet tall,
It wasn't a Hail
idiot.
Mary. It wasn't even a Hail Mary. It was like a seam route that he threw.
Yeah, then there was the to kind of go positive. There's the Lee Evans game.
Yeah.
He had 2 83-yard touchdowns in the first quarter, and then one that kind of ruined my life was the J.J. Watt interception.
Oh my God, the J.J. Watt interception.
Oh, there's been some nightmares.
We were up 10-7, driving third quarter. Let's take the lead
Who
here.
was that Peterman?
No, that was E.J. Manuel.
Was it EJ? Yeah.
Because came in on a.
Because I remember there was a game.
EJ was going to run a screen. JJ snuffed it out because he stopped pursuing him, and EJ just froze
Threw it
and
right at
threw it right at him.
Yeah.
And then he ran it back 80 yards, and then we're down 14-10, and we lost by a touchdown.
So you've got the losing to Ryan Fitzpatrick in that game. That was gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, the guy we decided we were too good for.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm glad we're doing this. It sucked for Doug Marrone, which I don't really care about it sucking for him, but we decided that we were too good for him. And then he got Doug Marrone took the job thinking Fitzpatrick was going to be his quarterback.
Yeah, and they did the bait and switch.
So then how amazing is it that he then has to go lose to that quarterback? And he's like, shit, see, this is what the playoff loss in 2020. Last fall when Allen somehow completed 9 passes.
Yeah.
That seems like probably the most improbable one. And then there was a game in 2012 when Ryan Lindell kicked 3 field goals and we lost 21-9, which that was the height of drought era football where you're like, oh guys, we scored 9 points in a whole football game.
Yeah.
Like we complain about the state of the Bills offense now. That's a firm reminder. And so there's that annoys me about this team, the fortunes of the Bills playing in Houston. And then you have them themselves, like their quarterback, CJ Stroud. This guy was supposed to be the breaker of narratives. He was the guy who was going to show to everybody that Ohio State quarterbacks really can do it in the NFL. And the media treated this kid like he was some kind of shooting star. He was on this meteoric rise, and they allowed him to say a lot of really ridiculous, patently false things, like reckless stuff that in retrospect sounds just absurd. Chris, if you want to delight us with this.
Top 5, gotta put Mahomes. Mahomes at 1. Lamar at 2. I'm going off of last year. I'm not going off of career. I'm going off of what happened last year. Patrick, Lamar. I'm saying myself. When Herbert was playing, bro. But I'm going off of last year, so Lamar, myself. Patrick, Lamar, myself. Hurts. I'm going Jalen Hurts, and then I'm gonna go. Oh no, I'm tripping. Let me go. I'm going.
Tripping?
So look, final 5. I know what I'm doing, dog. Mahomes, Lamar, myself, Dak.
Joey B.
No, he didn't really play last year. And then Hurts.
Dak?
Yeah, bro.
Dak?
Dak, that boy. Y'all not gonna say that because he ain't won the big one yet.
You said Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, Matthew, but he was a top 5 last
Cowboys thing.
Bro, you gonna put Dak Prescott in there over Joe Burrow?
There you go, CJ Stroud on something $1 million podcast. I don't know.
Train wreck podcast.
They
is what that
allowed
was.
CJ Stroud, and everyone just went like, "Oh, well, I could see that." No, you can't. You literally cannot see a universe where Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow or Josh
How
Allen.
about the clap when he put Jalen Hurts in there?
Oh my god!
At number 4, Jalen Hurts that leads the scintillating Philadelphia Eagles offense that his own wide receivers don't even like.
And everyone goes, "Nah, we could see that." No, you can't.
Yeah.
You literally cannot
can't.
see that.
Yeah.
And I like that he put himself in that category. And now look at him. Look at those stats, Ryan. Stare those down.
Yeah, I mean
This
he's
is Allen's 23 stats.
since that and actually since that interview, you can make the argument that he hasn't even been the best quarterback in his draft class.
No.
Like Bryce Young is probably that, and Carolina might not give Bryce Young a second contract. That's how bad he's been, right? And so this is like the first time that I can remember that either of the first 2 picks in the draft that were quarterbacks probably aren't going to get, or they probably will get a second contract, but you can make the argument that neither one of them deserves a second contract at this point, right? Like we're in year 3 of both of these guys.
We have
I don't know if either of them are any good.
We have a listener to this show that lives in England, Terry White. When CJ Stroud came out of college, he was like, "This guy ain't gonna be anything." There's never been a quarterback that's been any good with initials, except Y.A. Tittle.
and
The best Ohio State quarterback of all time has been Joe Burrow. Like,
yeah,
And what's funny is he went down a list of like 10 names and he was right every single time.
yeah,
And you go, "Oh no, if you go by initials, you're done." That's a death sentence.
yeah.
So I like Y.A. Tittle. That's a great
I
pull.
think that's the only one.
But yeah, like you look at the disgusting stats that he has. I mean, this season alone, Stroud 21st in passing touchdowns, 19th in total touchdowns. Josh Allen in the most conservative offense we've seen, he still is ahead of him in terms of aggressive pass percentage. Everything about him stinks. And since his injury, they've thrown 200 plus catchable air yards twice this entire season. And it happened when CJ Stroud was riding pine. It's awful that in getting injured, he opened the door for Davis Mills, which is essentially taking a llama and putting it in a Texans uniform. You're losing to that. Like you as a quarterback trying to say that you deserve star money are getting outplayed by Davis Mills.
Yeah.
And the team's winning. The football team is winning. And so, like I said, that's just annoying. The fact that they fucked everything up by Jalen Hyatt's second-round contract getting fully guaranteed, which skewed the draft for weeks.
Yep.
Kept some rookies out of practice. My least favorite thing is their defense. And I want to start with one of the players on them who I think might be the biggest scumbag in the NFL that nobody talks about. And that's linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair. That guy sucks. He's a hunk of garbage.
He's the new Vontez Burfict.
He is.
Yeah.
He's Vontez Burfict with better PR.
Yeah.
Because like dangerous hits on multiple quarterbacks over just the last 2 seasons. He obviously had that really well publicized one where there's zero excuse for you trying to behead a quarterback. And he ends up separating his collarbone and Trevor Lawrence misses the rest of the season because of it.
Yep.
And then he's out there trying to he's trying to appeal the fine. Like it was a flagrant hit on a defenseless player for no reason.
Right.
And he does it constantly. He's constantly the guy who after the whistle is taking cheap shots. Dangerous hits on vulnerable players. He's been penalized for overly aggressive play this season almost half a dozen times. We're 10 games into the season. How many games are you allowed to get a personal foul flag before somebody on your own team steps in and says, "Hey man, you gotta cool it"? But nobody's checked him apparently. Like I wonder, is this something like he choked Tom Brady during a play in 2022? Is this a D'Amico Ryans thing where he's just like, well, I kind of like this attitude?
He's the tone setter. He's the Shorzy of the Texans. He gets the boys going. You know, run them up or fill them in.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. There's something to be said for that. And their defense is doing both right now. If you think about their performance, there's this tweet from Anthony Prohaska here that I'll throw up here on the monitor for you. It's for those of you listening at home on audio. Here we go. if you taught Velociraptors to play football, you'd have the Houston Texans defense. They are disgusting statistically.
Yeah.
The pressures. I mean, when you think about, like, I remember when they talked about players like Danielle Hunter being available, and I was like, oh, this would be cool. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, the Texans are going to trade for him. And you go, all right, well, that sucks. I really wish we had been able to get a premier pass rusher. And then they continue to cultivate pass rush talent. And then they trade up in the draft twice so that they can draft a quarterback and the best pure pass rusher in the entire draft class, Will Anderson Jr., coming out of Alabama. And it's given them such an absurd advantage in almost every single football game they walk into, because they are what, number one points and yardage, top 10 in every single category, whether it's rushing yards allowed, rushing attempts against, whether it's pass attempts against, which is impressive that they're middle of the pack in pass attempts against in a passing football league. What that means is that you don't stay on the field long enough to throw the ball a ton.
Right. Yeah.
You're probably a team that philosophically has to go into a game like this saying, hey, I'll run the ball rather than expose my quarterback to that pass rush.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, you're already winning if you're the Houston Texans.
Yep.
Chris, if you want to throw their hour lads up there on the screen for me. It's crazy to me because you think about how deep they are in names people don't know. Everyone knows Derek Stingley. Everyone knows Derek Stingley is good and he's talented and he does great out this year as one of the NFL's best covermen. Kamari Lassiter on the other side is just as good. He just doesn't get the same amount of press. That's one that scares me, right? Like, this guy has 7 consecutive games with a pass breakup. He's aggressive and he attacks the football. That can be problematic if you have a team full of guys who do not do well against tight physical coverage.
Well, we have Keon Coleman.
Do we? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if his alarm clock works this week.
Yeah, jokes on you. The corners aren't really super valuable if you don't have anybody to throw the ball to. So, you know.
The last time, what I keep thinking of is the last time that we played a team with this sort of level of cornerback play, not even this good, but in the same conversation, was New England. And remember when we were told afterwards that no one was concerned because, oh, this is the best cornerback room we're going to see all year and it doesn't matter. And then the Dolphins took you to the woodshed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have that. And so entering this game on a short week with wide receiver injuries, it gives me a lot of pause. My question to you is, what are you going to do? Like, what's your game plan? How do you undress this defense? One of the things I find fascinating about them is they have given up a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
That's been one of the things that has allowed other teams to thrive. They've given up a play, like they've given up a third down conversion of 10 or more yards in all of their last 3 games. That's how Tennessee was able to go down the field and score a touchdown and keep themselves in the football game against Houston last week. It's fascinating to me that you can be that good and then have those, like, I don't know, or am I thinking about this properly? Chris, all-world defense that has a handful of brain farts, but when they have them, they're massive. Or the Bills defense where you're regularly allowing giant plays to happen. The Tucker touchdown run against Tampa Bay. And you're like, why can't anyone take a proper angle to the football?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people? But then in crunch time, they managed to find a play or two where it's Daquan Jones forcing a fumble. And you go, oh, there it is. There's your ball game right there.
Yeah, I mean that's vintage. That's a vintage Bills McDermott defense, though, right? Like, bend don't break, like get gashed all over the field between the 20s, and then at some point you're gonna make 1, maybe 2 plays, and then you've got that dude on the sidelines that hopefully can capitalize on those 2 plays that you're gonna make, right? Like that's what this Bills defense has done since McDermott got here. Like, it's just like the last couple seasons they've been above the curve in terms of turnover differential because Josh is taking care of the football.
Chris, if you can pull up the statistics from their page over at Pro Football Reference, I want to take a look. Go up. I want to see the game. Go up. I want to see these games. So when you look at on defense what they're allowing for passing yards, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you skewed it. You got to click weak. Put it back in order. Oh, what do you do to me? You're just going to have to refresh the page. All right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive NFL football games with under 200 yards passing allowed.
And they've only allowed over 200 yards passing twice this season.
And you go, oh, well, who did they play? You know, like we during the live show at the end when we were talking about the Patriots being the worst 9-2 team by DVOA.
Yeah.
These guys are the opposite. They're a 5-5 record, and you go, wait a minute, who did they play? Oh, what passing attacks did they? Oh, the Denver Broncos. Oh, the Seattle Seahawks, who have the ability to just light an opposing defense on fire if they want to through the air.
It's odd that you started with Denver.
I started with Denver because they're inexplicably bad. I don't know what's happening to them passing the ball this year.
I mean, they did a decent job against the Rams, but I think the Rams didn't really know what they were yet, right? Like we've seen a different offense since that week 1 of the Rams. They had a healthy Tampa Bay team, right? But they lost both of those games. So, what good did that passing attack do you? And again, they had, they allowed 159 yards rushing against Tampa Bay. And they allowed, 72 yards rushing to the Rams, who haven't had the best rushing attack so far this year. So, there's ways to beat this defense. And I think one of the things that we saw last week that the Bills did was they ran play action a lot more. They had a really high. So Warren Sharp talked about it today, and that he was, they had 46% play action in the second half. And then not only that, like they're really, really good when they run play action in early down sets. So in early down, they're number 1 in success rate in the NFL with a 63% success rate when they run it in early downs. And then EPA per attempt is 0.44, which is number 1 in the NFL. And the problem is if you're the Houston Texans defense, you're going, well, we've watched tape all season. The Bills lead the NFL in neutral down run rate. Mm-hmm. And you go, oh, well, they're going to run it on first down. Of course they will. And then we sprung that trap on Tampa Bay, and they... And how do you take advantage of hyper aggressive defenses?
Exactly.
You run play action. And it's so, but then it becomes this idea of you have no choice as the opponent who has this on tape to sit down and go, okay, I have to lean into their tendencies. Mm-hmm. I can look at last week and I can say, okay, they did this last week, but will they do the same thing against me? I don't know. So I have to look at what nine more weeks of film tells me this team might be and where their weaknesses lie and what some of their tendencies and tells are. Yeah. And unfortunately, that leaves you as the aggressive defense susceptible to the idea that if they roll out the same plan of attack, are you going to say, okay, I'm going to take all of my cues and build an entire game plan around one game of activity? Or am I going to treat that like an outlier until they prove to me otherwise? It makes it harder to prepare for. Yeah, I mean, and especially when you're talking play action, right? Because if you take away the play action, well, you just run the play then, right? Like you just hand it off, or you just run the quarterback power. But when you actively are like, oh, we're not going to fall for the play action, so we're going to stop the run. Okay, we'll just run play action off of it, right? So this is like trying to stop an RPO offense where you can take one away, but they don't have to make adjustments to go to the other one, right? It's not like taking away the deep ball and suddenly I got to figure out how to throw the ball underneath. It's not taking away my running backs out of the backfield and suddenly I got to get open downfield, right? This is just, we're going to show Cook, and if they collapse down on it, Josh is going to keep it and throw it. And if they don't collapse down on it, you're just going to give it to Cook. And you're going to let him go get 6-7 yards a clip, which is when the Bills win football games. Yeah. They run the ball at 6-7 yards a clip. So, I mean, this is a tough matchup for the Houston Texans because they're hyper aggressive. Now, like you mentioned, that it can make it difficult for a team like the Bills. But the difference is that not everyone has a quarterback like Josh Allen where you can be as hyper aggressive if you want. But when the ball's coming at you 70 miles an hour, like you better be early. Because if you're not early, you're late with Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. And he's a see guy, throw guy, right? He's not throwing with anticipation. No. He's not throwing on schedule, right? Like if they're going to let him be chaos Josh and they're going to let him go psycho mode again, like he did last week, Like this type of defense does not usually fare well against those quarterbacks. They don't play well against Lamar Jackson. They don't play well against Patrick Mahomes because they're not conventional 3-step balls out guy. And if that's what the Bills let Josh be, like I don't know that this game, I don't know that the Texans have the offense to keep up with Buffalo like Tampa did.
So that's that's probably the biggest question of this entire game is what happens to the offensive side of the football, because all of the defense in the entire world hasn't been able to stop them from being a 5-win football team. And you almost lost to the Tennessee Titans, who, again, arguably one of the worst teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
You take a look at their drive chart from the last game, and it's astounding to me what they've been able to accomplish. I've got it up here on the screen in front of us. Check this out. They opened the game with a 15-yard drive that burned 6.5 minutes of clock, gained 53 yards on 15 plays, which isn't efficient.
No.
Like, it doesn't scream efficiency. And then you turned it over on downs, which is something we're going to have to talk about in a second. Then you punted after 4 plays on the ensuing possession. Then you ran an 11-play, 48-yard drive.
Yep.
You averaged less. Well, what's that? Like 4 and change a play?
Yeah. 4 yards of play.
Not exactly the most efficient usage of the thing, especially because it still resulted in a punt.
Yeah. When you run an 11 plays and you're not in a position to at least try a field goal,
It's like,
that's
okay,
rough, man.
you started on your own 14-yard line. This has happened to the Bills all season.
Yeah.
Poor field position. Your offense, though, is not good enough to start with poor field position and still yield points. So to start the game, they go down, turnover on downs, punt, a 3-play 7-yard drive that burned less than a minute off the clock. Then Tennessee immediately responded with another field goal. So now it's 6-0. And you're looking down the barrel of this thing going, we're running out of time here. We're going to go into halftime being shut out in a half of football by the Titans.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Luckily, they came out, kicked some field goals, and got a touchdown coming out of half. But even then, look at the plays. 10 yards to go 63.
10 plays.
10 plays to go 63 yards. 4 plays to go 9 yards. Now, imagine you get a strip sack fumble.
Keep in mind when this drive chart, so this drive chart counts the field goal.
Yep.
So you went 3 and out and kicked a field goal.
You literally get a strip sack fumble. Total game changer. When the Bills get a strip sack fumble from Daquan Jones, they go down the field and they score and they put the game away.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, like McDermott probably goes for that.
Sure.
Right? It was 4th and 1 where they kicked the field goal.
We're going to talk about that in a second. So the Houston Texans got a strip sack fumble and then gained 9 yards and then kicked a field goal. To your point, that's a 3 and out.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got the fumble where you did.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't get it at the 34, you probably have to punt.
Yeah.
What a wasted possession. And in a game where the score was this tight, that could have lost you the game.
Yeah.
Their offense is atrocious. And that underscores, like when I say it's been better with Davis Mills, that's how bad they were before that.
Yeah.
So you question why. How does this happen?
I mean, it is a little puzzling even before you get into that. It is a little puzzling because if you look at like Nico Collins' stats, like he's having a good year. So it's like, how is this offense this constipated when you've got a guy that's catching like 7 balls a week for, like 80 yards? I mean, Chris has it up there right now, right? Like he's got on the season, he's got 49 catches for 642 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like that's not bad. Those are wide receiver 1 number. Buffalo would kill for a guy with a stat line like that, right? And like you're still a severely constipated offense, and it's just puzzling to me.
So our friend Brett Coleman is a Texans fan, and I sent him a message because I was like, as a bit for our show, we're talking about the Texans fans annoying me. What's it about the 2025 Houston Texans that bothers you the most? He goes, it's the lack of being able to run the ball in short yardage basically at all. And he's not wrong. And he went on a diatribe about just how badly this team misjudged that. But it's not the only roster construction mistake they made when it came to this offense. This is an offense that is wildly reliant on rookies.
Yeah. Yep.
When you wonder, like, okay, Nico Collins, he's eating. How come your offense hasn't followed suit? Well, it's because teams have decided that they're going to give him the Steve Nash approach. I remember when I was a kid, and that's how old we are. I can say when I was a kid watching Steve Nash play.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns were never great, even though Steve Nash was a great player.
Yeah.
And I
Didn't change until they got Dan Marley.
That's a pull. I'd watch games where you could see an opposing team go, we're going to give Steve Nash 45 points.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to have more than 15, and this game will end 90-82.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll win every game we play against the Suns. Steve Nash can be incredible. He's the most talented guy in this entire team. We'll let Nico Collins do whatever the hell he wants because Nico Collins can't score 4 touchdowns by himself.
Yeah.
And the rest of this doesn't work well enough. Well, the reason for that is they've built something that's crazily reliant on rookies. Running back Woody Marks, when they got Nick Chubb, a lot of people said, okay, well, there it is. He's going to step right in and be what Joe Mixon was last year. I think people don't give Joe Mixon enough credit for just how good at football he was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, by all accounts, just a real scumbag off the field, but on the field.
Yeah, and I think part of that, I mean, I'm making an assumption, but I think part of that was I don't think they thought that this Mixon injury would be what it turned into, right?
Sure.
Like Mixon, by all accounts, all through the offseason, it was Mixon's going to be ready for training camp. And then it's like, well, he might not be ready for training camp, but he's going to be ready for first week of practices. And then it was like, well, we'll see if we see him this year. And everybody's like, wait, what? Like, what? Because
I'm sure D'Amico Ryans at some point was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because then it's like, well, yeah, like Nick Chubb's fine if you've got Joe Mixon. And he's a change of pace guy, right?
And if they didn't have that mindset, do you think it maybe changes their draft plan a little bit?
It should, right? Because I think there's part of it where you wonder. Again, we talk about Joe Mixon being.
Google the running backs that were drafted in the just the 2025 running back draft class.
We talk about Joe Mixon and how terrible of a human being he is, right? Like, did he maybe not let on that his injury was as bad as it was? Like, did he let the team doctors see him on a regular basis? And
Is this what you want?
No, I don't want a video of him punching.
Football star punches woman in head. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because
Talk about a throwback running back, right? Like Joe Mixon.
Yeah, from what, 1940 when that thing was still.
I'm saying like Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson style, man, right? He's a real throwback of a running back.
Ryan, please. If you're going to talk about throwback running backs that does stuff to women,
yeah,
we know how that goes.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a certain.
I'm still waiting for that confirmation as to whether he's going to be part of this circle of honor to put in the new stadium.
Living in if we really want to go down that rabbit hole, we are living in a house made of glass. So when you look at this and you think about the running backs that were taken, I mean, obviously Genty went early. You kind of knew that he would, and you start going down here. And
Amari and Hampton.
Amari and Hampton gets drafted.
There's Woody
Quinshawn
Marks.
Judkins.
Where's Woody Marks?
Woody Marks was a later pick in the draft.
Right.
But so there was Travion Henderson. Mm-hmm. There was Quinshawn Judkins. There was real talents at the running back position that they just decided not to pursue. And then right before training camp, end up signing Nick Chubb to be their starter. And now Woody Marks is the most talented running back you have.
Yeah.
And he's good, but he's got physical and talent limitations.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Fourth round, 116.
Yeah. And right before he went, if you scroll up just a smidge,
Cam Scatterbo.
So,
but I mean, even Bioshel Tootin. Like Tootin is playing really well right now as a change of pace guy. For the Jags too, right? Like there was talk during training camp that Tootin was going to take Etienne's job. Never heard that about Woody Marks. Like when the news came out about Joe Mixon, it was like Chubb's the guy who's the handcuff, not worth knowing.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was Daria Bungawale who was somehow still on a roster. Like
I forget.
Those are the conversations
This is your annual reminder that Dario Gumbawale, one of the guys with one of the
it's a fun name to say, isn't
it's
it?
Daria Gumbawale and Legadou Nane are probably my two favorite NFL names to say. Wide receivers Jaden Hyatt and Jalen Noel.
Well, Jaden Hyatt, remember, was going to be the replacement for insert name here. Who's their guy that blew out his Tank Dell ripped apart his leg, right?
Yep.
Like he was going to be the Tank Dell replacement. They weren't worried about Dell coming back because they drafted Hyatt.
And so then the idea was, which is why they guaranteed his contract,
Right.
which then upset the apple cart for everybody.
Yeah.
But again, You have made by choice, your wide receiver depth chart is now 2 pros and a bunch of rookies.
Yep.
And that's your fault. You chose that. Also, your left tackle, Ariante Arisi. I don't remember going into this season. Chris, if you go back to that draft chart, just Control F. Go back to the draft chart you were just looking at from Wikipedia and hit me a Control F.
Pretty sure you're
and look up the last name ERS.
See, Chris, this is why you can't close tabs once you open them, because you know Drew's going to go back to it for no reason.
No reason, because
other than to have you Control F Ariante Irise.
ARSERY. Nope, you misspelled that. ER.
Wrong to start.
ERS.
ERY.
So he's a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Okay, 2nd round pick at tackle.
We
And
also talked about him with Russ Brown.
Yep. And then you decide that you need to divest. You intentionally divest of Laramie Tunsil, the guy that you gave up a fortune to get from the Dolphins in the first place. And you say, guys, don't worry. We've got Cam Robinson.
Yep.
Don't worry. This is all going to work out. We have Cam Robinson. Said no NFL football team ever. I asked Brett, Brett, on what planet did they believe that was a winning strategy? He goes, I don't know, but I wish they had called me first so I could cuss him out. So this dynamic shows up in a number of moments. You go back to the very last game that they just played. Marks is a small running back who catches the ball really well. Mm-hmm. He gets in the open field, and out of the backfield, he's got pretty good vision. The problem is, in the last game, it's 4th and goal, and you decide you're going to go for it. You're going to go for it. But you know for a fact that your interior running game is terrible. So you say, hey, like the stats real, guys. They just scored their first short yardage rushing touchdown of the entire season Sunday.
Week
Their
10.
first one.
Week 10.
How many does Josh Allen have this year?
Well, he had 3 just last week alone.
So, they have won through 10 weeks of football, 11 weeks. You have Marks in the backfield in the red zone because he is your most explosive running back at this point. Your interior offensive line is not good. They give up an immediate A-gap pressure, and Woody Marks, I would have expected that even as a small running back, like if you had a Cam Scatterbo, I'm assuming he pass protects pretty well.
Yeah.
You look at the guys who are built like Henderson, Judkins, like they're built for pass pro. Woody Marks is 5'8".
Yeah.
He is not that player, and he doesn't have that skill set. That's not what he was taught to do in college.
It's knowing your personnel, right? Like when when it comes to the Bills,
Yep.
right? Like one of the complaints that I have, I understand why, but a lot of the complaints that fans have is like, why isn't James Cook on the field in passing situations?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a chance that Josh could call like a max protect situation and James Cook has to stay in to block, James Cook will be off the field.
Yep.
Because James Cook cannot pick up a blitz. So that's why Ty Johnson is back, right? So it's knowing your personnel. If this kid, as great as he can be out of the backfield, if there's even a chance that Davis Mills could call a max protect or some type of a call to keep that running back in, he's
got to be able to do his job.
He's got to be able to do it.
And so in this instance, he didn't, and he takes a devastating sack on 4th and goal, and they turn it over on downs to start the game. Now, he's trying to be aggressive, but again, you trusted a rookie to do a job that a veteran should probably be doing. Then their left tackle has a play where it's 3rd down, obvious passing situation. Rookie left tackle. He gets his entire body turned perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. It's like, you've already lost.
Yeah.
You don't realize you just gave way too much inside leverage to that D end. And he just gets bull rushed directly into Davis Mills' lap for a sack, and it pushes them out of field goal range. And now they have to punt.
Yeah.
2 mistakes that 2 rookies made that took 10 points off the board in a game that you barely won.
And you needed a late drive to win it. Yeah.
This is why you are a 5-win football team. And they didn't plan for the Mixon injury, okay? They didn't know Nico Collins and Christian Kirk would get hurt and miss time and not be available. But you had to know you were building a poor offensive line. You had to know. Your center, I think it's Jake Andrews.
Yeah.
Chris, fact check me. Go back to that Our Lads page. Because according to, Jake Andrews, He is one of the worst pass protecting centers in the entire NFL. Also, when you look across that interior offensive line, Jarrett Patterson, Jake Andrews, Titus Howard, they are 3 of the worst run blocking interior offensive linemen in the entire NFL. It starts to become an Office Space scenario of, what is it you say you do here, you 3? But it's not their fault. They're a symptom of how this team was built.
Yeah.
Nick Caserio did this team a real disservice. And then the coach just, where are you as a coach if they come to you and say, hey, you have one really good tackle and we're going to trade him away for assets because we don't think we need him. We took a rookie and we think he's going to be all right. Your interior line you knew was going to be bad. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, because it's like you're running contrary to what you typically see in roster construction, right? You get the young quarterback. The young quarterback shows promise. You got talent around him already in Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, you know, and typically, and you've got a great defense. Typically, you're going to invest in the offensive line, right? Because the key to keep having a great quarterback is keeping that quarterback upright. And C.J. Stroud set records his rookie season, despite being one of the most pressured and sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Wouldn't you think that, like, hey, this kid looks like he's got it. You know, maybe we should go get someone to keep him off his ass. And they just were like, nah, we'll just get rid of the best guy that he's got. You know, like, he's fine. He can run, right? He's the complexion of a gentleman who can move if he needs to. Like, but it seems like that's what Casario thought, right? Like, CJ Stroud's not a scrambler. He's not a mover. He's not a guy that gets out in open space.
No.
And it's almost like Casario is just like, he looks like he can move. So just let him run around back there if he gets in trouble.
Guys, this is going to be fine. His mobility. And you go, well, really, he's not that mobile. Like,
No, he's got to be mobile. Look at him. He's mobile.
He's not, you're like, he's athletic, but he's not that athletic.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he's
it's
athletic
a
in the way
real
Joe
problem.
Burrow's athletic, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, if the seas part in front of him and he's got room to slide, sure, he can take off and rumble down the field for 7 or 8 yards.
Well, and Chris, that's where we're going to start things off for this week's Keys to Victory.
Wow, that's a lot of keys.
Bigger the keychain, more powerful the man.
There's a lot of games the Buffalo Bills go into where they find themselves kind of overmatched when it comes to defensive tackle play against interior offensive linemen. And that's what happens when you lose a talent like Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
I think if you had Ed Oliver and you had him, I don't know, I don't want to say regularly, but if you had him more available over the last month of football, do you think some of your games end differently?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So
Yeah, I mean, between Ed Oliver and Shaq Thompson, you're missing the spine of your defense right now.
yeah.
If you're the Bills, right? Like that.
Leslie Frazier?
Yeah. I mean, that can't be ignored, right? Like Jordan Poyers led the team in tackles last week with 15 tackles. There should be no existence. There should be no reality in the multiverse where Jordan Poyer in 2025 is leading your team with 25 or with 15 tackles. Like, you're clearly missing somebody up the middle, and you're probably missing 2. And I mean 3 really, because Hoyt, you saw that one full game they had him. Like, they moved him around the offensive or the defensive line a lot. So yeah, they're missing Ed Oliver tremendously. And I don't even think that can be undersold.
So when you go into a matchup with a team like this, who's produced this, because this really is a matchup of the the totally stoppable force against the completely movable object in the Bills' defensive line and front 7 against the offensive line and the rushing attack of the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
This is a matchup the Bills have to be able to win.
Yeah, for sure.
When you look at these season totals, so Woody Marks, most explosive running back they have. Look at what happens when you have him rushing off left tackle, 3.3 yards per attempt. When you try to rush off left guard, this is 28 attempts on the entire season. He's averaging 2.9 yards per carry. If you try to rush in the middle of the line, you get 3.3 yards per carry. This is a team that just does not run the ball well in all of the places that have flummoxed the Bills' defense, because usually when you see it go poorly, it's because the spacing between our linebackers and our safeties, it's just skewed. Somebody's not where they're supposed to be. There's a miscommunication. And that run comes off like guard. Comes off guard, off tackle, and there's a crease and they hit it and the safety's not fast enough to come down and close, or the linebacker takes a bad angle, and that's a 10-yard, 12-yard, 20-yard run. I mean, how long was the Tucker run? Was it 44?
44.
Which one?
Yeah, that is true. Remember the one that we saw coming right down the pipe at us, and it was just crazy watching the C part. No one was near Tucker.
Yeah.
And he just did what you should do. Kind of came up inside, bounced it out to the sideline, and nobody could get him.
Yep.
As soon as he hit that, he knew he'd cut the angle. No one was going to catch him from behind, and he was off.
Yeah. Hairston almost caught him.
Hairston did almost
that kid's fast.
He's an athlete.
That kid's fast.
But it's worth looking at the idea that, like, even on tosses and things that go around right end and left end, look at this. 2.3 yards per carry if you give this kid a pitch out off right end. That's supposed to be running to power.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the power side of your offensive line. And on a pitch out or a sweep, they're averaging 2.3 yards per carry with their most explosive running back. This is something that the Bills, if they're going to try to balance the equation of how good the Texans defense is, they can't get beat by these things.
No.
And
No,
what
you can't let Woody Marks rush for over 100 yards against you if you're going to win this football game, or if you're going to do in this game what a good team should do.
For sure. And what I like about that, though, is Deion Walker has been playing crazy football.
Yeah.
What was he? Pro Football Focus's highest rated player of the game against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Yep.
He's just visible and impressive. Steal of the draft.
For the Bills, I would say, yeah.
It's like you understand. I mean, I don't understand, but people understand. People tell me they understand the concept of trading up to try to get a TJ Sanders and then going, well, this talent fell to me in the 4th round. I might as well grab him.
Sure.
And it's the Christian Benford, Kyrie Elam thing where you're like, oh, snap. The guy that I took out of Lark is actually better than this guy.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We need a Deion Walker game. Deion Walker is going to have to be one of the players who he's been playing a rotational role. They're going to have to get him more involved because I'll tell you, between the guys who we have with no Ed Oliver, you know, Daquan Jones he's back and he looked good in this last game, but he's also old.
Yeah.
On a short week, who else in the defensive tackle position do you see making an impact outside of Walker?
Yeah, I mean it's got to be Walker because like it sounds like Fedarian Mathis is going to be ready to go because he's a full participant today.
Okay,
I don't know if that's good. Like, okay,
he'll eat space.
Yeah,
He can spell Daquan Jones.
Right, like he'll give guys a blow, like Jordan Phillips. Like he'll give guys a blow, and Jordan Phillips is good for 1 penetration a week. Right, maybe he makes the play. Maybe I mean he has. He's gotten. I can remember vividly.
That stupid jacket's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think this is cool. Chris, is it cool wearing a jacket under your uniform like a toddler on Halloween?
No.
Like, oh, hey, let me put my Halloween costume on
I
over.
think we need to be careful of you and Chris being the arbiters of cool. I think let's just tread lightly where we're at here. So,
right.
you know, Chris fixes his hair.
As Chris like quaffs.
Check out that quaff, baby. Who knows what cool is? This guy.
The guy wearing Chelsea boots inside his own home. It's hilarious. Okay. Point taken.
Drew rocking the wingtips with jeans.
Well, listen, I was at work. I have a job. I don't
know about this coat with pads thing. Doesn't look very cool to me.
Doesn't look cool with your
what happened to the Fonz? He used to be cool.
The Fonz? I'm not gonna lie. Leather jacket under a uniform at practice would be way cooler than what Jordan Phillips is doing right now. Who would be the Bills player to do it? Like, who would look the best in a leather jacket under the uniform?
Who would look the best or who would actually do it?
Chris, this is your department. We're talking fashion now. Who would look the best wearing, just like at practice one day randomly, just a leather jacket under their uniform?
Milano.
Are we talking?
Matt Milano might be.
Are we talking current roster?
Current roster.
I'll have to think about this.
I think it's Milano. It's Milano or it's Bernard. I think probably the linebacker position probably could get away
I can
with
see
it the most.
Jackson Hawes wearing a leather vest.
You know what? A leather vest with the sleeves cut off.
Yeah,
that's a Dawson Knox look.
A vest doesn't have sleeves.
Well,
you know who might
do. You can't just do straight vest.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna go leather jacket with no sleeves, can I offer you a Joey Bosa?
I don't know.
I mean, I
can
can
he
see
spell
it.
leather?
Doesn't need to spell it to wear it.
Every time I hear him talk, I go, "Good God, it's a good thing you're good at this." It's a good thing you know how to do this one thing.
Him or AJ Epinesa. I mean, they might be a guy that can go out and kill you a cow, skin it, and make their own leather jackets.
Well, we know AJ does that.
Well, yeah, AJ Epinesa.
He'll have a snakeskin
You know what?
jacket
AJ Epinesa is my vote.
Yeah,
I would like to
Epinesa's a
see
good
that
one.
dude just out there rocking a leather coat under his thing, because would you question him?
No.
He'll wrestle a giant anaconda in the middle of the jungle. You think he cares what you think about his jacket? Probably not.
Epinesa, by the way, with the way that they run the ball to that right side, like sneaky big play this week.
Well,
for
this
him.
is the thing, right?
Sneaky player of the game.
Your defensive front has to win. You have young tackles, a bad run blocking interior, and they're average pass protectors at best. Your defensive line has to win this game, or at least win this matchup.
Yeah.
So that the rest of the guys behind them can thrive. Because Epinesa might be the best run defending defensive end. Like, everybody's used to saying that it's Greg Rousseau, but I can tell you that just watching the games, I feel like Greg Rousseau is great at setting the edge, but you know who's been great at getting actual disruptive penetration has been AJ Epinesa.
Yeah, I mean, I shared it to the group chat that we're in today, but they put out the defensive pressure rate versus the blitz rate, and the Bills are the third best team in the NFL in terms of generating pressure at almost 40%, but they're also one of the lowest blitz rate teams at under 20%. So they bring, I mean, it may not look like it because they're not getting a ton of sacks and they're not getting at the quarterback a ton, but they make things uncomfortable for the quarterbacks, and it should continue against a really bad offensive line.
We have to hope so. Well, hopefully Davis Mills' processing isn't so otherworldly that we can't get to him.
I mean,
well, and in that, we can't get outcoached. That's my other key to victory.
That's a big ass for Shawnee.
D'Amico Ryans has so many of his fans pissed off right now because the Texans, in a lot of ways, just because of the state of their offense, make every single game Sisyphusian, where they have to push the rock uphill to try to beat the Tennessee Titans. To beat, you know, they go to the mat with the Jacksonville Jaguars and then end up losing unceremoniously, like, hey, we gave it up late and they went down and kicked a game-winning field goal because we only scored 13 points. Yeah. Everything that they're doing is harder. And then you think back to last year. The worst version of Josh Allen's passing we've ever seen was that Houston Texans game. It's a game where you should boat race the Buffalo Bills. And instead it ended up being a field goal football game.
Yeah, I do want to ask, how many times did you practice the word Sisyphusian?
Oh, I use it a lot, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, because you should.
That's surprising.
You should see where I work.
Yeah, that's fair. I just thought it was worth asking because I think a lot of people probably got caught off guard by Drew and you know, your demeanor using the word Sisyphusian. So just thought I'd ask. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't think that would come out right the way your teeth are aligned.
Thought there'd be a whistle to it, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the gopher from Winnie the Pooh. Yes.
Or maybe a suffer and succotash or something in there. Yeah, I mean, Josh had his worst game that we've seen of him, and it was like a slog, right, for them to keep pace. And D'Amico Ryans is a throwback of a coach, much like Sean McDermott, who wants to trust a defense, run ball control offense, right? The only difference is that he doesn't have an alien playing quarterback for him, like Sean McDermott does, right? Where Josh can do these things where it's like, oh, just the hell with it. I'm just going to do it myself and go win a football game. So when you rely heavily on the talents of your own roster and you rely heavily just strictly on the numbers and what the metrics tell you to do because you don't know enough about offense to have a feel for the game, right? Like, as an example, Mike McDaniel, right, last week against the Commanders, 4th and goal from the 1, tie football game. Less than 2 minutes to go, Commanders have no timeouts. He has no feel for the football game. He went for it on 4th and 1 instead of kicking the field goal and taking points because the numbers told him to go for it, right? And there's no feel for, and I don't think D'Amico Ryans has a good feel for the game when his team is on offense. When his team's on defense.
Well, you said it earlier. You're like, this is a guy who does not understand his roster.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. He understands football. He has somebody in his ear going, well, this is what the metrics say, and the metrics say to go for it. He goes, okay.
Math says go.
The math says go. So with Davis Mills, one of the league's worst interior offensive lines, and Woody Marks, 5'8" Woody Marks.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for
Fuck it. Yep.
And then when it doesn't go well and it blows up in your face, he throws his hands up in the air and goes, guys, I don't understand why this didn't work.
Yeah, you told me it was going to work. You told me the numbers said go. Why didn't it work?
It's a guy who's either unaware of his team's limitations or just unwilling to accept them. But either way, that's how you end up a 5-win football team.
Yeah, I mean,
you're talented.
It's similar. It's similar to the criticism that we've had about McDermott with Buffalo, right? Like, but it's the opposite, because the criticism that we've had for Sean McDermott has been, yeah, the math says that at 4th and 3 you go, 4th and 4 you kick, but the math doesn't account for the centaur that you have at quarterback.
Yep.
Right. Like, you've got a guy that no one else has in this league, and the math cannot account for because it hasn't been around long enough to catch up to him. Like, yeah, maybe on 4th and 4 once in a while you should go for it because your quarterback wants you to go for it. The team wants you to go for it. You've got momentum, but instead, math says punt, so I'm going to punt, right?
Well, that's it. McDermott will come out and go, well, the numbers and based on where we were on the field.
Right.
It's okay. You do know you have a human battering ram.
Yeah,
you have the
exactly.
juggernaut.
So where DeMeco Ryans, overestimates his roster and to the detriment, Sean McDermott, I think, sometimes underestimates his roster to the detriment.
And that's where in this game, in order to win, I'm going to need to see all of our position coaches, and all of our coordinators and our head coach. Don't underestimate your team to the degree that DeMeco Ryans is willing to overestimate his. You can't have that guy do a better job coaching his roster than you do yours this week. If you manage that and you manage it properly, there's an avenue to victory there, no matter how tough their defense is, because of the state of their offense and because of the state of just all of this. I think that it looks daunting on paper, and you can certainly do yourself a disservice with the wrong game plan. You can come out and decide, you know what, we're going to challenge those corners, and we're going to put Keon Coleman in, and we're going to let him run down the sideline and throw him 50-50 balls.
Probably not the best move.
You could do that. Mm-hmm. Or what you could do is build a game plan that, once again, just like Tampa Bay, is heavily based around running back passing.
Yeah.
And then kind of take the advantage away from having those cornerbacks at all. Go find your advantages and press them. You do that, you outcoach them and make them react and change their play style to match you. If you do that, you'll win this game.
And how fun must it be? I mean, McDermott hasn't quite learned it yet, apparently, but how fun must it be to just be like, I don't want to get outcoached, so I'm just going to go tell Josh to just be Atlas.
All right, Josh, you go do.
Yeah, hey, Josh, go have fun, man. Slap him on the ass on his way out. Like, how great would that be to just be like, I'm not going to get outcoached. I'm just going to put the ball in the hands of one of the top 3 players in the league and just let him go to work.
I don't know why, but I feel good about this one. I should.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game.
I feel stupid for saying that out loud, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game where it's on a short week. You're coming off a big win. It seems as though, I mean, I'm not a believer that this offense is not fixed, right? There's problems with this offense, but
you've had letdowns.
But that's
why you feel that way.
This is the first time all season that it feels like they just said, just go do your thing to Josh, right? And kind of like turned him loose. And it worked, and he didn't take any bad hits, and he...
Well, also, he had people around them who were giving 105%.
Yeah.
Where he gives 120, he at least had people around him giving 100.
Yeah.
And that made a difference.
Yeah. I mean, you saw even on that touchdown to Shavers, like that was scramble drill, right? Mm-hmm. That was, he sees his quarterback break the pocket and he just goes, right? And he gets behind the deepest man and trusts that you're going to get an absolute piss missile.
If he puts it on me, it's going to be hot. So I need to be able to, and I need to be ready to stretch out for it.
We talked about it on the show with Mario and Paul, man. That throw, 50 plus yards in the air, and it never got higher than 15 feet off the ground. Just an absolute rocket.
It's like when you hit a drive in golf and it just hovers, but it never did.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, it's him, Mahomes, and maybe Stafford can make that throw. So yeah, I mean, to your point, like, just don't get outcoached. And sometimes if you feel like you're getting outcoached, like, just turn it to 17 and just say, go do your thing, man.
I'm confident. I don't know why I'm confident, but I am.
I very rarely do this, but I probably will be taking the Bills over. I will probably taking the Bills to cover 6, and I usually don't do that if it's a touchdown spread. I usually will take the under on touchdown spreads with the Bills, but I think I'm taking the Bills to cover this one.
And that's a bold
-6.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pans out for you. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. But for tonight, we got to get the hell out of here. Chris has given me the wrap it up sign, and I've blown past him twice. Professional podcasting. I'm Drew Gear. That's Chris Kruger. That's Ryan Lasal from ROC Sports Network. And this has been your Rockpile Report.